Hi everyone, my name is Lydia and this is what I wish they taught me about econometrics and introduction. In the previous video, we talked about the homoskedasticity assumption and the mathematical way for it was the conditional variance of epsilon I on xi being equal to sigma square. If you look across econometrics textbooks, you might get confused in the same way you might have gotten confused with the fourth and the fifth assumptions, the conditional mean or unconditional mean of the error term. The Wooldridge book, for instance, uses the conditional version that I have used in the previous video. However, for instance, the Gujarati book uses the unconditional one, and ultimately, the Green Book uses both of them depending on the context. So it means that there is a slight difference between the two, and there is a reason why it matters if we write it as the conditional or the unconditional one. The conditional homoskedasticity, written in the way that we did, means that after conditioning on x, the spread of the error term is constant. So after conditioning on x, the spread of the error term is constant. What about the unconditional homoskedasticity? This would mean that the overall variance is constant. And keep in mind, this is without referencing anything about the x. The same story that we said about the conditional and unconditional mean will apply for the variance as well. The conditional version is the one that is stronger as an assumption, while the unconditional one is the weaker and at the same time also the older version. So which one should ultimately we be using? And the idea is, because the conditional version has a few advantages to it, this is also the one that modern econometrics prefers to use, and that's why in most of the textbooks this is also the version that you will see. Keep in mind, also before we go into these advantages, in some other books, because they use the matrix version of it, you might see this condition written as the conditional being equal to the sigma square I, where I is the identity matrix. Okay? This is still the conditional version of the scalar version that we said that Wooldridge mainly uses. So what makes this modern version of the conditional variance the most preferred option? It makes the Gauss-Markov theorem clean. We still haven't covered the Gauss-Markov theorem together, but it will become clearer once we get to that. It is also compatible with heteroskedasticity, robust inference, meaning in the cases that we actually see that our homoskedasticity assumption is violated and we come up with different ways to fix that problem. It also reflects the idea that x may affect the variance of the error term. Plus, when we move on to more complicated estimated versions, like different types of weighted least squares, the generalization to the weighted least squares is made a lot more easier if we have the conditional version of the variance. Also, keep in mind the unconditional homoskedasticity is going to be the weak condition, and that will not mean that if that is satisfied, the conditional one is satisfied as well. So now that you know the difference between the homoskedasticity assumption way of writing, keep in mind that you will have to stick with whatever version mainly your lecturer will be asking of you based on the book that you will be looking. It's very likely that most of the times you will see the conditional one being asked for you to use. But keep in mind, in practice, when proving the Gauss-Markov theorem or deriving the OLS variance formulas, the conditional version is what we will keep to use in the next videos as well. I hope this was helpful to clearing any doubts, and I'll see you in the next video.